The best place to live for those planning to start a family is in the countryside. Smaller communities provide a safer environment for kids to play and have a typical upbringing. This couple decided their downtown flat was too tiny after having a child, so they found the ideal home to raise their son in and bought it in the country. However, they had no idea what they were getting into. They were constantly disturbed by clicking sounds of the glass patio doors every night. The majority of 26-year-olds in Kelly's neighborhood were not like her. She had finished graduate school and had been happily married to Brad Shoemaker, her high school sweetheart, for a year. For Shoemakers, everything was great. They enjoyed all a young couple could hope for, including a nice house, reliable income, and enduring love between them. However, this was about to change. When Jeremy was born, the dynamics of the Shoemaker family changed. Kelly and Brad were extremely happy when he was born, but it was hard for them to continue living in their flat in the city. Brad suggested moving to the countryside after observing how much his wife was worried about it all the time. Kelly agreed right away, but she had no idea what she was getting into. The family relocated to a lovely home away from the hustle and bustle of the city. At the time, Jeremy was 2 years old. He cherished their new home the best out of all the Shoemakers. Their new residence was surrounded by lush woods where squirrels lived. Jeremy, a toddler, thought this was paradise, but his mother didn't share his viewpoint. A scurry of squirrels can attract a predator. Brad, Kelly told her husband one night. She was starting to fear the worst after realizing how much Jeremy enjoyed spending time in their yard with the squirrels. Even though their county had predators, Brad reassured her that everything was all right. One night, when a knock woke them up, he changed his position on the subject. The Shoemakers heard the knock on their porch door on a chilly Saturday night. Brad went downstairs to investigate and grab his bat. Kelly followed suit, carrying her own bat. She then opened the porch door. They were rendered speechless by what they saw. A wounded squirrel was lying in front of Kelly and Brad. One of its hind legs was discolored by an open wound. Kelly raced to help it after hearing it squeak. The injured animal was taken in by the Shoemakers. They cleaned the wound and bandaged it. For warmth, Jeremy brought a blanket. Their home was again silent. After a year, Lily, the newest Shoemaker, recovered from her injury. Knowing she had a family who yearned to see her, the family decided to release her back into the wild. After Lily left, the house had a strangely empty feeling. Kelly couldn't help but sense there was something more going on. It wasn't long before the Shoemakers started to hear tapping on their porch door at strange hours of the night. The first night they heard the knocks, the Shoemakers hurried to the porch door. All they discovered was their pitch-black yard looking back at them. The nightly knocks continued for a whole month. Then the months turned into a year. Jeremy was now in 5th grade, Kelly was completing the last of her PhD, and Brad was the manager at his firm. But even with all these changes, one thing remained the same. The Shoemakers had been hearing tapping on their porch door for 8 years. Brad installed cameras all over his backyard after becoming frustrated with the situation. He also placed some over the driveway. Kelly spent the entire weekend gazing into the cameras. She couldn't believe what she had seen. Brad. To rouse her spouse, Kelly quickly went upstairs. She quickly entered Jeremy's room as well, awakening the 10-year-old. Brad followed Kelly and Jeremy and bemoaned, "It's 2 in the morning, Kelly." "What's that?" Kelly remained silent. She dragged them both to Brad's study while glaring at the porch camera. Brad shrieked. He focused on the video feed, zooming in on what he was seeing. As Brad encircled them, Kelly leaned out and gave Jeremy a hug. The porch was being tapped by a squirrel. Jeremy said, "Lily?" Kelly nodded in agreement. The squirrel was larger and had a more intricate coat. When the squirrel did something unexpected, the family was about to rush to open the door for Lily. After scaling the rafter, Lily vanished. Almost shouting, "Change cameras," was Jeremy. Brad changed the camera that was gazing at the house on the computer. Jeremy said, pointing to Lily, who was on the roof. She squeezed herself between 2 tiles and climbed in. Attic? They all sprinted upstairs at Kelly's suggestion. The discovery left them speechless. Lying in her old cuddler was Lily. She calmly fed 3 kittens while tucking them between her legs. Kelly sobbed ecstatically. "This is incredible," she remarked. Jeremy and Brad remained silent. They clutched each other and observed while Kelly reached out to the kittens. After sneaking away, Jeremy came back a moment later with Lily's old blanket. He grinned, "Mom, we are a family once more." The shoemakers bought Lily a new cuddler that could accommodate her children Jossie, Alan, and Cliff. Additionally, Brad spruced up the attic and made it more animal-friendly. They learned that Lily had knocked on their porch each night they had heard it. She had spent the entire time housed in their attic. Kelly found it fascinating to see the baby she had raise her own children. Lily's persistence in returning to her rescuers captured the attention of the internet and altered people's opinions on squirrels. The shoemaker's tale became wildly popular online and won the hearts of millions of people everywhere. Nowadays, Lily has a sizable online fan base, and some of them even visit the shoemaker's home to meet her. She has shown that squirrels are intelligent animals capable of love, compassion, and dedication, despite the common misconception that they are bushy-tailed pests similar to rats. Lily actually behaves more like a domestic pet than a wild animal, and she is obviously appreciative of the assistance from people. She wants the world to hear a crucial message. The red squirrel is regarded as a threatened species in England. Due to diseases, invasive gray squirrels, vehicle accidents, natural enemies, and habitat loss, their populations are in decline. But there's also a big danger from people and their pets. Squirrels are sometimes viewed as disease-carrying pests and nuisances because they break into bird feeders, chew through wire, and dart into homes and yards. These pests have a lot to offer than chew through wood and wiring and sprint in front of cars. They are an essential component of a healthy ecosystem, claims a well-known researcher and ecologist from the University of Florida, Robert McCleary, an associate professor in the Department of Wildlife Ecology and Conservation at the UF Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, has been studying squirrels for most of his career. His entire life has been devoted to spreading knowledge about these intriguing species. Squirrels are some of the most visible wildlife in our modern urban and suburban settings, and they are a vital part of the ecosystems they inhabit, he says. Their biggest contribution to the forest is in shaping plant composition. They have a peculiar habit of taking seeds, which are their main source of nutrients, and burying them, McCleary explains. They bury them throughout the environment, and often when they go back and look for them, they forget where they are. When that happens, they are effectively planting seeds. Over time, this peculiar activity, known as catching, improves the forest's topography. They will expand forests and change the types of trees that are there, McCleary said. They are, for instance, crucial to Florida's longleaf pine ecosystem's survival. Despite the fact that we do know a lot about squirrels, according to McCleary, there is still a ton we don't know about them. He enjoys researching these enigmatic species because of this. He added one more amusing fact to the mix. If you're in your backyard, walking across a college campus, or through a park, you might hear squirrels. They make a rolling, chirping noise, McCleary said. Typically, they flap their tails over their heads while they create that recognizable chirping sound. This gesture signifies back off. He went on to say they are scolding you because you are near a tree they've utilized or are near some food resource, or you're also perceived as a predator, McCleary explained. This makes us wonder, what is Lily's point then? If Lily can teach at least one person to have compassion for all living things, no matter how big or how small, Kelly said, then we have done what we have set out to do. So keep in mind that a little kindness can go a long way the next time you witness an animal in need, no matter how big or small. Every living thing on Earth has a purpose.